Shri Karisiddappa ji and members of the Malnad College of Engineering Trust and the staff and all of you who are joining this institution, Malnad College of Engineering today. Wish you all a great learning experience, a journey in your life, 4 years of your life where you want to know what is going to happen in the field of engineering in whichever discipline you have taken. What I intend to do is quickly take you through the journey of Indian space program and also through that narrate to you how the use of technology is being brought to the benefit of the society, and then what a great visionary scientist like Dr. Sarabhai pointed out that, and true to the heritage of this land, that the knowledge and the skills you acquire is meant for the benefit of the society and benefit of others. And as you are all aware, in 1957, humanity got a new capability, a capability of going beyond planet Earth. And like today's disruptive technologies, this technology came into existence because two superpowers were trying to vie or compete with each other to make sure who is more powerful, who is more capable. And at that time, India was a fledgling democracy, just 10 years into independence, struggling to provide food, shelter, and education. And we had great visionaries like Homi Bhabha and Dr. Sarabhai, who were looking at how this activity of going beyond planet Earth can help India grow rapidly. So what they did, actually, Dr. Sarabhai was aware that if you can put a satellite at the height of 36,000 kilometers from Earth, it will act like a tower at that height, and 1/3 of the globe is continuously visible, so you can do line of sight communication. So what Dr. Sarabhai did was convinced Americans that they should allow us to borrow their satellite to move over India. And for 1 year, India conducted in 1975 world's largest socio-technological experiment of providing broadcasting service to 2,400 remote villages in our country. You can imagine in 1975, this capability of reaching out to the people in the country would have been possible otherwise only if you had taken every kilometer, you put a microwave tower. And you know, 3.25 million square kilometers of India, how many towers are needed and how much time it would have taken. But the satellite was able to provide immediately a large connectivity. Similarly, when earlier era, super cyclones used to take away the lives of tens of thousands of people, by looking at how the clouds are formed and how clouds move in Earth's atmosphere, it is possible to tell exactly where the cyclone will hit the coastline. We have 7,500 kilometer long coastline. Earlier, because it was not known when the cyclone will hit, people used to lose their lives because of the lack of knowledge. But today, with satellites in operation, you know exactly days in advance when the cyclone will hit the coastline. And you have seen in the recent past that disaster relief agencies are able to evacuate people and save their lives. So what used to result in tens of thousands of people losing their lives in India, today it doesn't happen because of the space technology. In a very similar manner, when Dr. Sarabhai had to conduct these experiments way back in 1963, he had to convince the fishermen in the coast of Trivandrum that you vacate this place for us to conduct these rocket experiments. One day the country will benefit. For doing this, he had to even convince the fishermen with the help of priest of the church there. Probably many of you have seen the photographs of a church, and the priest had to convince the fishermen. Today, what we are able to do, a small battery-operated gadget is fitted into the boat of the fisherman, and then by looking at the color of the ocean in many different wavelengths and through the food chain of the fish, it is possible to tell where exactly in the ocean fisherman has to go for catching the fish. Not only that, with our navigation satellites in operation, this small gadget communicates with our NAVIC satellites. Like GPS in your mobile, the fisherman is able to know where he is in the ocean, and a mobile in his hands, the app in the mobile points out in a video compass mode where he has to head for fishing. Not only that, it gives him alerts in his mother tongue if weather vagaries are going to be unbearable in the coming days, or if he's approaching international boundaries. Many times you read in the papers that our neighboring countries are capturing the fishermen. So he's given an alert in his mother tongue. Now you can see what is happening here. A person who does not know reading or writing is able to make use of the most advanced technology of a rocket putting the satellite into orbit, and with its application, he is able to conduct his livelihood. Just recently, 1 lakh such gadgets have been manufactured by 3 companies, and states have given them are in the process of giving it to the fishermen. So in all this, what I'm trying to show you is the use of space technology of building rockets, going to space, has been used by the country for improving communication, broadcasting, and then in terms of weather monitoring, and also in terms of the livelihood. It's also possible to use this data for identifying where you should drill a bore well to get water, and what is the crop yield this year, weather monitoring. And also, you can see, if you have to see what is happening beyond the borders, you can, from space, it sees no boundaries. But all this technology of building, getting into space, how did it happen? It happened because many young people like you who graduated from institutions, in fact, many graduates who came out of this very institution, Malnad College of Engineering, have contributed very significantly to in Bangalore and many centers across ISRO, and have resulted in producing today a capability where India is among the very few countries in the world which has an end-to-end capability of building satellites, launch vehicles, and not only that, you have seen how we have made use of our limited resources to reach Moon, Mars, and beyond. In fact, in 2008, when India did its Chandrayaan-1 program, you are very much familiar, man had already landed on the moon. A large number of probes had touched down on the surface of the moon. But still, the credit for discovering the presence of water molecules and the process of water molecule formation is given to Chandrayaan-1. What this shows you is, it is never too late in science and technology. You can always achieve new things. You can make what others have done, not done so far. And for that, what is needed is make use of whatever technology that is accessible to you, whatever knowledge you have acquired, but focus on the problems you are facing. And if you decide to work on that, put dedicated effort, there is nothing that stops you from achieving what you want. You also saw just last year on 23rd August, when we landed on the moon, Vikram and Pragyan rover landed on the moon, it was years of effort. Chandrayaan-1 carried a moon impact probe which got released from the orbiter but touched the surface of the moon in an uncontrolled manner. In Chandrayaan-2, we were planning to land it safely with a slow movement and soft touchdown on the moon. But then some of the things what we had designed and realized, there were some shortcomings, and in 2019 we came very close to touchdown but did not succeed. But not worrying about lack of success, what the scientists and engineers did was continuously worked on the problems faced, and then demonstrated last year that if you persist and if you are ready to learn from your mistakes and failures, then you can achieve, and you can achieve what others have not done. You also saw last year, very close to when we were touching down, at least 4 or 5 other attempts happened, and the only real successful attempt was ours, and Russians were unsuccessful. Even the Japanese, their vehicle touched down upside down. An American company put their touch system horizontal. All that it shows is tasks are difficult, but no difficult task remains undone if you have dedication, if you are ready to put in your efforts. And what ISRO has shown to the world is with indigenous development, indigenous technical knowledge, you make use of whatever technology that is accessible to you, but you can go beyond what others have done. Similarly, when Mars mission was done, just to give you an idea of the complexity of that mission, on the 5th of November when this satellite was launched, the satellite task was travel a distance of 60 crore kilometers over a period of 10 months. And at the end of that journey, you imagine in space a 50-kilometer cube. On 24th of September morning 7:30 a.m. to the 2nd on 2014, if the satellite was not inside that cube, it would not have been possible for us to make the satellite get into the Mars orbit. And what kind of forces could have affected this? Many of you are aware, sunlight falling on any surface produces radiation pressure, and this can deviate the trajectory of the object going thousands of kilometers in this 10 months. So not only are you required to find out where you are at every instant, but also build a capability to communicate objects with distance. And all this, what it shows is that India and Indian minds are phenomenal and can achieve in spite of limitations that are there. And today, all of you who are entering this career, you are poised for a great journey, because unlike those years, today India is the 5th largest economy and aspiring to grow toward the topmost. And you have already seen how scientists and engineers of this land tackled very critical problems, very difficult problems faced by the world. Even COVID, while many countries had difficulties, India, with its own knowledge base and the system it had the vision and the desire which was brought into reality, and then not only solved the problems for itself, but also showed to the world that you can provide solutions to the global community in a manner which is very different from rest of the world. While everybody was looking at how can we take advantage of this situation for our own economic benefit, India provided these solutions to other countries practically without considering economic aspects. In a very similar manner, we are all very familiar, the software engineers of this country, people who used to make fun of them, telling they are e-coolies. But today you have seen the kind of solution they have provided in fintech and the digital revolution they have done. The world is given a mechanism, a fintech solution of adopting this digital technology system, and it has broken the backbone of many credit card systems and providing very cost-effective solutions for providing governance to the entire country, reaching out to the digital in a digital manner. Now, all this shows that India is capable of making use of whatever technological capabilities that are there, which is accessible to it, but then can think very differently from rest of the world. For that, we have to really appreciate this land has a heritage of looking at life in its totality. Human life does not mean benefit only for humans. Human life is possible only when we recognize all other forms of life contribute to human life, and also nature, if you take too much advantage of whatever is there in nature, can give you very difficult times. We have seen how excessive use of fertilizers has resulted in soil becoming infertile, and then in terms of the plastic usage, water consumption, and pollution. In all this, it is the greed of the human mind to bring in rapid development which causes the problem. But this land has always shown that human life requires recognition that all other forms of life also needs to be recognized. They have a role in our own life, and if we have to survive on this planet, while we keep building our capability, we need to pay respect to nature and respect to other life forms. I'll touch upon just a couple of more points before I conclude. All this narrative is to show you that the intellectual capability of this land though it was under the external rule for many hundreds of years after independence, was able to rapidly change the scenario from a very difficult situation. You have already reached the 5th largest economy. And if in the coming years, before 2047, when the country expects to reach beyond everybody else, true to reach the position which we occupied once upon a time, if that has to happen, who is it that has to contribute to that? And who are the people who have to work for that? It is you, the youth of today. Today, India is actually in a very advantageous state because among the global community, the average age of Indian is said to be 28. And by the time this age, average age becomes 40, India has a unique opportunity. And it is during this period, the kind of growth trajectory that we can make will decide how we will continue to move ahead. And it is here, every one of you have a tremendous opportunity. World is moving at such rapid pace. Technology is changing at such rapidity that what was good yesterday is no longer good tomorrow. And this puts a tremendous pressure. While many of your elders, previous generation people had what I call as a half-life of a student. Half-life of a student is at the end of your career, when you exit from the academic institution, the knowledge and skills you have, how long will it allow you to contribute to the work environment without any new skill or new knowledge being acquired? In the yesteryears, it used to be in decades, but the rapid change in science and technology is bringing it down to few years. Today, you have a risk. Your requirement is not the content of learning, but the process of learning. If you can master the process of learning, no matter where you are, what problems you face, you will be able to tackle them because you have learned the process of learning, so you can find out how you can solve the problems. And it is here that you need to make the best use of the opportunity that is given to you. While you grew from your childhood to today, what is it that is available with you 24/7? If you look at today, I can say each one of you is a highly evolved robot. A robot which has got 5 sensory organs for taking inputs. That means you are gnanendriyas. With these 5 sensory inputs, you are exploring the world. Then you also have 5 actuators on the basis of which you are actually performing your external function. While I am sure every one of you are able to identify what are your 5 sensory organs, I am sure many of you will struggle to identify what are your actuators on the basis of which you are performing your day-to-day functions. I leave it to you for finding out, but you have 5 karmendriyas. But then, like in any robot, there is a control system whose job is to pick inputs from sensor, give instructions to the actuator to perform, and for doing that, it picks the data stored in a memory, all the instructions stored in the memory. So the controller picks the instructions, passes it to the actuator. You just think of a washing machine. You turn on, then it goes through the whole process in a particular sequence based on the instructions stored in that. Same way, the robot also does the same thing. While the instructions or what is available for performing external functions are clear, many times as designers, you will also realize that there comes a time when what design features you have built into that robot is inadequate for that robot to perform the function. For example, if you have a robot designed for lifting an object of 5 kilograms, it does not know what object it is lifting. When it simply goes as per instructions, reaches the point, tries to lift. And if the capacity is not adequate, it can harm the robotic arm, it can crash. So as a designer, you will start thinking, what should I do? I should increase the capacity. You make 5 kg to 20 kg, but then the object could become 100 kg. You will soon realize this way of increasing capacity will not work. So you will start thinking about fail-safe design. That means you will start worrying about how can I design it so that it comes to know that what it is doing, is it within its limit, within its capability. So another set of instructions we write for fail-safe operation, and for all this, we put another memory in the robot. So a robot in a way has 5 elements: sensors, actuators, controller, one memory for instructions for external function, one memory for self-protection and self-preservation. Now, if I ask you a question, can you map all these 5 elements to yourself? You are all highly evolved robots. Can you map these 5 functions to yourself and start analyzing your own capability and how the controller functions like an asli intelligence which humans are trying to create outside you? Just to put things in perspective, what has been the effort of human being right from his early days of existence? Initially, he had to struggle for survival, fighting with other animals with the bare hands. Obviously, he found he is not capable of dealing with those animals. So what he started doing, he started picking up stones, sharpening it, and then impacting the animals, took long rods or poles and started fighting from a distance, bow and arrow, guns, like that. Similarly, he saw his own ability to move limited by his leg can take him only at 3 to 5 kilometers per hour. He saw animals moving much faster. He started riding them after domesticating. He saw birds flying. So he has built today aircraft, and you are going to other planets also. And similarly, your eye can see only between 400 to 700 nanometers. Today, how many gadgets are there which are able to show you what is happening in nature beyond this 400 to 700 nanometers? All this, can we call this as atindriya gnana? That means beyond the senses what you are given. You take an infrared camera, you can see what is happening in the world outside the 400 to 700 nanometers. You look at X-ray, and you have built huge machines which can do the functions of thousands of people. Today, you are trying to mimic your own asli intelligence by building artificial intelligence in computers. My idea of telling you all this is very simple. While you are exploring the world, you have reached a place where you are trying to hone your engineering skills. What is an engineer? It is said an engineer is a person who can do a job in $2, in $1, what any fool can do in $2. That means you are learning the process of optimizing, making things happen in a systematic way. So engineering is a skill of converting knowledge into action. And that is where all of you have tremendous potential. India is poised for great growth, and the opportunities are tremendous. But in all this opportunity of exploration, if you do not explore your internal self, try and understand what is it that is available to you 24/7. Try to make use of this knowledge. Improve your own capability. Improve your capability of making sense out of things. Maybe I should tell one more thing before I close, that as a child, when you are growing, you learn, if you are in Karnataka, you learn Kannada. If you are a child in Gujarat, you would have learned Gujarati. If you are in Germany, you will learn German. Just think of for a minute, why is this happening? Like I said, you are a robotic system with a controller which is trying to mimic what it is seeing around. It is trying to generate instruction set of providing commands to the complete vocal cord system, of trying to reproduce same sound what it is hearing. So in that process, it keeps learning. So the intelligence is trying to build the instruction set and store, and then later in the rest of the life, you are making use of it. That means your intelligence is all the time trying to make sense out of what is happening around you. And if you do not become aware of this, and if you do not try to make use of it, you are missing a huge opportunity. Just to make the point clear, suppose I give you a gift, a box given to you. Many times when you open any gift box, electronic gadget, you will see a manual in that, user's manual. Suppose in the box given to you, that user's manual is missing. Then after some time, I ask you a question. What is your ability to use this gadget of all its features with 100% efficiency? I'm sure your answer will be, nobody will be able to reach 100%. So in a similar manner, we are all given these capabilities of sensors, actuator, an intelligence which is capable of learning and then internalizing the whole system. If we are not trying to comprehend that, are we missing out on a big thing? This is where probably yoga also is a process available to human beings to learn beyond the 5 senses, Atindriya Gnana. Anyway, I will leave it here because otherwise I can go on and on indefinitely. So I want to thank the organizers of this program for giving me an opportunity to share with you how India has moved in the field of space technology, how India has demonstrated that you can make things happen very differently from what the rest has done. There's a tremendous intellectual capability and also a tremendous value system which is very different from rest of the world. So you are all actually extremely lucky in that sense. But then beyond that, you are the actually designers of your life and you have the potential to achieve what you want. And for that, you have to explore your own inner self apart from exploring external things. Thank you and wish each one of you a great learning experience. Thank you.